There he is.
Hello.
Well, welcome to this is the first episode of We're Getting Naked. You're the first one on We're Getting Naked. You're the
Great.
first guest.
I
That's
love
how
it.
important you are to this
Now?
podcast. We're going to launch it with your face and my dick,
Yeah.
which I think
Pretty much
you've
what I
seen it.
expected when I agreed to this.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, we got to introduce you, right? I mean,
Who's we?
me.
Yeah.
I go by that's my pronoun is we. Sorry. I should have said that at the beginning. I go by we now. I don't know if that's even I think it might be a new one.
Well, you've earned it.
I think me and my dick, so it's we. My dick and I think is probably the correct grammar.
You're we. You're we and you.
My we man. My we and me. Um, Tell us who you are and what you're working on right now.
My name is Jon Schroeder. I'm an old friend of Romanski's from back in the Sarah Silverman program days. And I'm currently working on Bob's Burgers. I've been there all since the beginning.
Forever.
We're starting season 16 now, if you can believe it.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And you were just a baby when it started.
I was 39 and now I'm 72.
It's crazy how that works.
I'm just going by appearance. I stopped counting years.
No, me too. I mean, look at
You've
this.
aged pretty well, my friend. You got some salt and pepper in the beard, but your hair's great. I lost everything.
Well, thank you. And I'm sorry. I know I used to wear a hat.
Wife.
What's that?
I already caught a wife. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter. Just let yourself go.
I have.
It doesn't matter. They'd have no choice. They have to just deal with whatever you look like.
That is true. But back to your podcast. What is it really called?
It's really called We're Getting Naked. And do you know why I started this podcast?
Because you're always naked?
Yes. Did you think so? You and I worked together on the Sarah Silverman program back in like 2007.
I would say 2006. Because
Six.
that was, yeah. It probably aired in 2007.
That's true. And we didn't know each other.
No.
And we were in a writer's room together for a first time. I think this was like my second or third like real writer's room, but like real first job.
Same for me. Real first job.
Yeah. And Sarah was amazing and invited us to come into the writer's room and work on the show. I don't think she knew what she was getting into by hiring me and possibly you. And I guess everybody on the show, because it was a crazy writer's room.
Well, I'll admit, I was a friend hire. Like, Sarah knew what she was getting when she hired me. And she didn't know what she was getting when she hired you, but I guarantee you she has zero regrets about it. I mean, she was delighted by you the entire time.
Well,
And she still sings your praises. Like, you could be literally bouncing off the walls, and she's like, Chris, we need 10 ideas. And you're like, A, B. And they were all home runs.
well, this is a great segue into like because on that show I felt the most free I ever felt, like I could be myself in the writer's room on that show. And I didn't think that was going to be possible because, I was known for getting naked all the time and pulling my dick out. And, nowadays, probably when, maybe in that writer's room, if that existed now, I think it would still be fine. But like, it's not appropriate, but it somehow was not only appropriate, but like to a certain extent encouraged to a certain extent.
I would agree with that. I mean, I think the only people who kept their pants on were me and Dan Sterling.
I think, yes.
You
And
corrupted Harris Whittles for sure.
and Harris Whittle's a great dick too. Every time he brought his dick out, it was hilarious. And he did some really funny stuff with his dick and being naked and stuff too.
Yes, he did.
We had a great, as soon as he started, like a great tag team with both of our dicks.
Yeah,
And
it was a lot.
naked in the room. And do you remember? I still have this picture of Harris laying under a glass table and naked, and me laying on top of the glass table. And we pressed both of our dicks together. So the only thing that was separating our dicks was just a piece of glass.
I remember that. I always mix up this story. It involves Schraub somehow, I think. And
Yes.
maybe not you, but Harris balanced an EL fudge cookie.
No.
That was
That's,
you.
yes.
This is what I always mix up on your
And
enclosed
no,
penis.
wait.
And then someone ate it off that.
No, I think I put it on my penis and Harris ate it off, or it was vice versa. But it was Rob
Okay.
Schraub was the one who placed it on there.
Okay.
This is, mind you, this is we're at work.
I know it's a little shocking to to say it out loud because it felt like it was just a room full of friends.
Yes, but did
And
you,
at the beginning, it was Sarah was the only female, and then we hired Chelsea Peretti, and I worry that she was scarred.
she seems to be doing fine now,
Oh, she landed on her feet, no question. But
but
it's
she
a
took a
different
hit.
dynamic when a female,
I, absolutely. And I feel like when I say it felt like I was encouraged to do that, and Harris and Rob to be naked and do stuff like that on the show. It was like the encouragement came through like people laughing, which
yeah,
is if you don't want me to do it, don't
yeah.
laugh at it.
Is
Like
this an apology tour? I don't know.
it might be, yeah, it might be the tour
We
that
know better now. We know better. I mean, we should have known better then.
I agree.
We were not in our teens. I was in my mid-30s. You were in your 20s.
Yes. I was in my early, like mid 20s, and there was no cancel culture. There probably that's when it should have started. It didn't. It
Yeah.
started much later, but I think we were, to a certain extent, I think we were a part of the reason why the Me Too movement and cancel culture happened because you can't do that.
I know. And then later we would hire Dan Feibel and Rich Rinaldi as well. And
And they were great, but they were like,
they didn't care for it. They were adults, and they still are. They work on Bob's Burgers now. I've had the pleasure of working with them the last 16 years, and nary a penis has been exposed in the Bob's Burgers writers room.
yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you. Like, you've worked on this show for 16 years. You've also worked on other shows.
Not really. Jimmy Kimmel was kind enough to hire me on his show in between.
Right.
Because you remember Comedy Central had these incredibly long hiatuses of Sarah's
Yes.
show. So he was nice enough to hire me on his show in those hiatuses. But that's it. Sarah, Jimmy, a friend hire. And
Yep.
Bob, first job I got through my agent.
Do you remember do you remember when Jamie came into the office Sarah was so excited to introduce him because she was off, like they were dating and she's like, Jimmy's coming to the office. I'm going to bring him by, your offices to meet when he comes in. It was like lunchtime.
Mhm.
And I remember hearing him coming down the hallway with Sarah and I'm sharing an office with Eric Faulkner, my old writing partner.
Mhm.
And I go, oh my God, Jimmy's coming. He's like, no, I know. Sarah told us. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to take my pants off and sit at my desk. And when Jimmy comes in, I'm going to stand up and go, oh my God, it's so nice to meet you. I've heard a lot about you. And he's like, and so I just whip my pants down because I'm getting nervous that he's like closely approaching the office. I whip my pants down and I scoot into my desk and Faulkner just goes, oh my God, dude, what the fuck? And I go, don't act like you haven't, this is what I do. He's like, are you really going to do this? I go, yeah. He's just like, he knows this is happening. So I finally hear him one door down with Sarah, and Jimmy shows up to my door. Sarah knocks on the door. I go, come in. He opens the door. And she's like, Jimmy, this is, Eric Faulkner. And Faulkner turns around, and meanwhile, he's staring right at me. So he's got this big shit-eating grin on his face, and he's trying not to laugh, but he's also trying to be like pleasant and not be like, I think Sarah was like so confused as to why he was like so like he was laughing.
Right.
He's like, hey, nice to meet you. I'm Eric Fowler. He stands up, shakes Jimmy's hand. And I go, oh, my dude, I heard so much about you, Romanski. And I stand up and Jimmy goes, nice. He goes, oh, my God. Oh, my God. And he's laughing, but he's not, he doesn't want to look, obviously. Right. I mean, I get it. And I shake his hand. Faulkner is dying. Sarah is dying. Jimmy's he's laughing, but he's also so confused. And then he goes, oh, nice to meet you guys. Sit back down. Faulkner starts dying. And then we hear literally 2 seconds later, we hear Jimmy going like, why would he do that? Why would he do that? And she goes, that's Romanski. That's, I told you. He was supposed to, yeah, he was supposed to know that was going to happen.
Amazing. Yeah, his room could be a little rowdy at times, but again, everyone kept their clothes on.
Yeah, and I've been in writers' rooms before where I've had to keep my clothes on, and so you have to ask, like, is it cool to take your dick out in here? And usually the response is like, no. Even that question is probably not cool.
Right.
Um, there was, I did work on another Sarah show, the I Love You America show.
Oh yeah.
And that was a blast too. And it was, a similar room. It was like the first room in a long time where, besides like, working on Blue Mountain State, which again, I was naked all the time. And that was my own show. I feel like.
I think you created that so you could be naked without fear of.
With getting yeah, without fear of, because when it's your show, you can't really.
Yeah, you wrote a naked character. Yeah.
Exactly. It's part of the show. But I remember on Sarah's show, we were shooting. It was right after the Louis C.K. thing came out. And it wasn't. Obviously, everybody was sort of on edge about, like, comedy and, like, was he doing that as a joke? And either way, I mean, I don't think he asked for permission, so it's probably.
Yeah, that was, yeah.
Sounded pretty appropriate. But we're like, Sarah's pretty bummed. It's her friend. And I was like, we got to do something to cheer her up. So I'm like, let's shoot a video for Sarah. And I was like, hey, what if we shoot this? That Glenn, she was one of the writers on the show. She was like working on something. And she's like, hey, Romanski, can you come over here and take a look at this? Tell me if this is okay. And so I entered the frame with my pants down. I look over her shoulder, like at the computer, and I go, yeah, that looks cool. She's like, okay, cool. Yeah, I think that looks good. And then acts like it's completely normal. And then once I leave frame, in the background, this other guy, John Haskell, one of the writers, walks by with his pants down as well. Like it's just a normal business attire.
I remember seeing this video and I remember thinking, holy shit, have they learned nothing from this scandal? But I guess if anyone's out with it, yeah. It cracked me up, but I honestly could not believe you did that.
There was another writer that knocked on the door, and she came in, and she goes, and she looked at me, and I don't know how she knew this, but she goes, are you about to take your dick out? And I go, we're shooting a video, but yes. And she goes, okay, I'm not going to be in here for it. I go, totally, obviously, that's fine. But there must have been a look on my face that, because I do think I get so excited for it that I must have it must be written all over my face that it's about to come out. My pants are about to come down.
Well, I won't name names, but there was a bit that someone did at Kimmel, I think only to other men, where he would take a Solo cup and cover his balls with it, and then his penis was still in his pants somehow. And then you'd have to guess balls in the cup, balls not in the cups. And then he would take away the cup, and sometimes his balls would be out, sometimes they wouldn't. But you could always tell because he was blushing when his balls were out. So maybe you had a little bit of that.
But I don't know if I ever felt embarrassed. And I know when
it's not even embarrassed. It's just like a rush, I guess. I don't know.
That's the thing.
As a non-exposer, I wouldn't know.
You're not. I've never seen your dick.
And you never will.
I was just going to say, this would be the time if we wanted to see it.
No,
we're going to put it in.
You can look up Jelly Roll. Jelly Roll's penis was leaked online yesterday.
What do you mean it was leaked? Like out of the jelly's exposed?
Yeah. I don't know the details, but it was going around.
Isn't Jelly Roll the name of his dick? Didn't he name his band after his dick?
I'm not sure. It could be.
Let's
say yes. Let's assume that's the case.
Right? Like Post Malone, that's his dick. All these band names are Drake. I think we know where that's coming from. Even Kendrick Lamar, I think, is a great dick name.
When you asked me to do your podcast, I probably should have said, what's the name of it? Sure. Well, perhaps like about writing or something. No, it's all about dicks.
All about dicks. And yeah, it was like, when I was thinking of like what I wanted to do podcast, I was like, I just don't want to do like a boring podcast. But also I'm like, I don't know, even if the podcast that I come up with is going to be boring, but I was like, I just want to do something that I'm like, I love. And I feel like because I do remember, I don't remember if you remember the first time seeing like laughing at someone being naked. Like, has it always been funny to you? If you saw
Yeah,
somebody naked, like, do you remember the first person you saw naked?
I don't remember the first person I saw naked, but I have no shortage of friends who believe it's hilarious to expose themselves to their friends. And I reached a point where I was never like I don't my to use the vernacular of the day, I have a very low body count. And once I got married, I'm like, oh crap, I've seen way more penises than I'll ever see vaginas because of my stupid friends.
Yeah, honestly think you have seen my penis way more. Uh,
Well, and if anyone wants to, A, all they have to do is ask, but B, you display it hilariously in those two HBO specials that Andy Samberg did.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, I'm explaining what your motivation is.
When I was 6 years old, I remember I jumped off the diving board at a birthday party. It's all parents and, my friends, 6, 7 years old. And everyone's jumping on the diving board and like doing funny faces and stuff. And I'm going like, I don't know. I knew I loved attention. My mom knew I loved attention. Pretty sure all my friends' moms knew I loved attention. And I was like, they're not getting the laughs that I want. And so I'm next going off the diving board. And I remember looking at everybody. And I just go, hey, everybody. And I jump on the diving board. I get up into the air and I just pull my pants down in midair. And as I'm coming down, I see everyone's faces go from this to, oh my God. And I remember just going underwater and like laughing, going like, oh my God, that's what I was looking for. And I remember coming up out of the water, not because I was coming up out of the water on my own, being pulled out of the water by my arm by my mother, who then spanked me in front of everybody. Now I'm still laughing,
Of course.
but and I could see the other parents like this laughing, and I'm going like, "Oh, this is it. This is my thing." Like, I know what they know what I'm destined to do. And then I would come downstairs for dinner like 14, 15. And my mom was like, time for dinner. And I would just come downstairs naked and sit at the table. And my mom would come in with the food and just be like, what the hell is wrong with you? And I'm like, it's dinner
And I'm hot.
and I'm hungry and I'm hot.
Oh my God, Chris.
And she would love it. But then it got to so she would go, you got to put your clothes on. I go, oh, fine. And then she would start serving dinner. And I would just sit there the rest of the dinner like everyone thought it was normal until I stood back up again. And my mother would be like, I can't believe you're still naked. You didn't put clothes on. I go, we just sat down for 45 minutes of dinner. I heard about Dad's day at work. I heard about John's day at school. We had conversations. I've been naked this whole time. But I think my mom just got so used to it that she's nothing she could do. I mean, I was too old to get spanked.
Right. And even then, you're doing it as a bit. You're not like
No,
I don't know like what a nudist's motto is, but you're doing it for a
it's
laugh.
pure joy.
Yeah.
It's selfishly, it's a rush for me, but
Right.
it's also the pure joy you get off of seeing other people see you and go like, oh my God. To me, there's nothing sexual about it. Like,
Sure.
I don't think that anyone looks at me and goes like, this
Hubba hubba. I
exactly.
do. Listen. You're great. You're great. Just the way you are.
But it's not like I'm hard. I do think that would be funny around certain people if I was able
Yeah.
to.
That's a different. That does take it to a different level.
I do
Be
think
careful.
I did send a picture to Sarah of me hard during COVID, and I was dating this girl, and she was making masks like
You
people were
told me
doing.
that. Yeah.
Did I send you that one?
You sent a few like you had this series for a while, if you will, of like little post-it notes. Like I remember you had your your iPod headphones on your penis, and it said, "Have you heard the new DJ Khaled album?" I was like, "God damn it!"
I remember
But
saying that.
when did this first start in film or TV? Because I know, like with Andy Samberg from back in the
Back from like doing stand up out here when we're like 23,
no, but also like what
Channel 101.
Channel 101, yeah, the Dan Harmon, Rob Schraub,
Even before
amazing.
that. Yeah, even
Even
before,
before that, you were doing naked stuff.
because in college, we would shoot student films, and I remember my friend Pete and my roommate Brian were shooting a student film. Now, I had been out drinking the whole night, as you would at 18 in college. And I come home and I realize I come through into the apartment, and I'm obviously hammered, and I'm I'm being loud, and like they're trying to shoot a film. So like, no, you shut the fuck up. Like, we're trying to do this. And I was like, oh, sorry. So then I go in my room and I go, it'd be really funny. It's like, while they're shooting a scene, I should be in it, right? I should be in the movie. It's a student film. They're shooting. I just take all my clothes off and just walk through frame. Ruin a take. Now, meanwhile, they're paying for all this film as a college student.
Right. Yeah. Super 8 films. Yeah.
So they go like, that's gonna have to be in the student movie. And then I was just rolling around on the floor all night naked.
Yeah.
And it just got to be where, again, they just tried to ignore me, but they didn't.
And you just go further.
Exactly, because I'm going like, I'm doing this for attention. I'm not stopping until I get. And then they're like, do you just want to be in this? And I was like, yeah. And then they just film me like rolling on the floor, like in and out of scenes. It's just me rolling on the floor in and out of takes for no reason.
And like, so then you went on to team up with Eric Falconer, who's a fantastic writer and an amazing
Fantastic.
person, but a little more straight edge than you.
Yeah.
How did he tolerate all this?
At first he didn't like it, because I would do the similar thing. Like, he'd be writing at the computer and I'd be standing next to him and I go, I love this idea. And I just have my dick out, like literally right here.
Right.
And he would just be writing, and then he'd go, yeah, oh my God, dude, why is that?
A good impression.
Oh, and I go, you did just look at it. And he goes, it's right at my face. I go, but you look directly at my dick. He's like, I had no other choice. And I go, I don't think you have peripherals.
I like how you're shaming him.
It's his fault. And it got to a point where he was just so used to it. And of course, then we co-created Blue Mountain State together, and Eric and I wrote Myself Apart. And every episode it was like, yeah, then I could fucking be like, then I'm naked and the girl's like beating me up. And he's like, you couldn't literally write that you're having sex with every girl in the show, yet you're writing that it's just you ziplining naked for no reason, and you want to run into a guy's face and break his nose with your dick. And I go, that's just way funnier than and nobody wants to see that, number one, but nobody even more wants to see just me being naked with a woman.
Yeah, that's a fair statement.
Right?
I mean, again, no offense. It's just
no, none taken.
We're not all as free as you are. That's the issue.
I appreciate you saying. I appreciate you saying no offense after everything. After
probably tell I'm choosing my words carefully, or trying to, but like, some people find this funny and some people very understandably don't.
Yes, we're cutting out the no offenses in the edit of this. We're cutting out all of the no offenses that you say. It's just gonna be you saying things.
Me like, yeah, shove it in their face. Oh, Roman.
Yeah. So nobody in the room. Bob's Burgers.
No, it's very. Yeah, it's a very. I mean, listen. There's jokes to be made and that sort of thing, but nobody is undressing. And I think that's safe to say of just about every room since the Sarah Silverman program room.
Yeah, Blue Mountain State. I was naked quite a bit. Like, I would trap Eric in his trailer and pull my pants down and stand against the door and not let him leave. He's just like, "Can you please?" Which I think it's probably some sort of a crime.
It is a crime.
I I think it's technically kidnapping because I wouldn't let him leave. And I think it might be not sexual assault, but maybe sexual misconduct.
It absolutely is. And honestly, now it does feel like you're trying to maybe get yourself canceled or arrested just to feel better about all of your past transgressions.
I think if someone found me, if someone just held me accountable, I maybe wouldn't do it anymore. But
All right, I'll do it. I'll press charges.
I would really appreciate it.
The statute of limitations is up, though. I think. I don't know if it's the same as murder.
It's not. It's not. No. I always say like, get a good lawyer because I'll fight this. I will fight this.
You would show up to court naked.
I also want to hear me talking to my lawyer. Go like, so what? Tell me the story. And he goes, I gotta be honest with you. I think we should take a plea deal. And I go, they're not offering one. Number one, and you have to defend me, right? Like, who? You have to defend me. Even
I can see several lawyers quitting that case, and you'd have to keep going worse and worse.
right.
Until you get like Sweet James or somebody.
Sweet James would take the case for
He'd
sure.
take the case. I think, yeah.
Or the Lakers. I want to get the guy who reps the Lakers to rep me.
Yeah, he's probably pretty good.
I mean, he got off Kobe
Well, R.I.P. Too soon.
too
Let's not
he
drag,
got-
let's
he
not
got
drag
him
him
off
into
too
this.
soon. Or you got him off too soon, or
Oh, poor Kobe.
poor Kobe. I mean,
Unnecessary.
unnecessary. Do you know, watching, obviously watch a lot of movies, watch a lot of TV.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like nudity in TV and movies has gotten less and less. Like,
Yeah.
it
It's
used to be like, what's his name's Jason Segel, very funny scene of him with his when he's getting broken up with in Saving
Yeah.
Sarah Show with his dick out.
Being sad and naked is funny.
Really funny.
But everyone on set knew that was coming. There weren't 150 extras shot.
No.
Yeah.
Exactly. Everybody knew his dick was coming out. And also, I don't know if you saw that Barry Keogh, I don't know if I'm saying his last name right.
I know who it is, yeah.
Did you see that movie? Fuck. It's such a good movie, but it ends with him dancing through the mansion like naked, and it's so fucking funny and ridiculous.
I
And
have
was
not seen that.
because
But it's easy for me to say, oh, when there's like a penis in a film, it's funny.
does it
It's easy for me to say, I understand why others don't feel that way.
when
Like
you
in Pop Stars, is that what it's called? The Lonely Island thing?
I was offered I will say I was offered to be in it.
Is that part of the guy who wanted his penis signed?
Yes.
But they couldn't sign it because it was too small?
I mean, my dick does have a price, and we were unable to come to terms for my dick.
But yeah, again, it's a funny bit 'cause it's the cliche of rock stars signing boobs.
Sign my boobs. Yeah.
To have a fan that wanted his penis signed by the pop
Yep.
stars was, in my opinion, extremely funny.
I agree. I'm a little bummed I didn't do it. When I saw it, I was like, I think, to be honest with you, I think my dick it's also, I think I have a quite funny dick.
It gets laughs. It has gotten laughs. Yes.
It has gotten laughs. And, I mean, that's why again, that's why I do it. I don't do it for me. I do it for everybody else.
You just admitted you got a rush. But yeah, well, let's go with that. What are you working on now other than keeping your penis in your pants?
Well, I'm working on a movie for Alan Richson right now. I wrote him a movie, and of course, there is some nudity in it. I did write myself a part in it where I played three different people. It's basically like the setup is these Marines are going to this village because they think that the bad guys at this has infiltrated this village. So they're busting down doors looking for this guy. And every door they bust down, the first door they bust down is like a straight couple having sex. The next door they bust down is like a gay couple having sex. The next door they bust down is a guy just masturbating.
And you're
And
all
I'm all three.
amazing.
And I'm going, and I remember like reading it, going like, yeah, this is, I want to tell Alan I want to play this part. Now, there's probably 20 other roles that I maybe have a line or two, or that I could easily have just been like, yeah, maybe I should just do this part. But I just think I have the funniest body for it. And
You like it.
The rush I get from it is, it's like no other rush.
I think this podcast should be called Justifying My Exposure.
It might be a better.
I mean, it's fine. It's less aggressive than Let's Get Naked. But it's not as catchy as Let's Get Naked. But I'm going to let everyone down by not getting naked.
I agree. I think there's enough AI now that when you do stand up to leave, we will make sure that your dick is like fully exposed.
Fair.
And no one will be the wiser. That's what all I would do with AI is just,
I think that's already happening, isn't it?
right? People are, yeah. I mean, I kind of do want to see Martin Luther King's dick. I mean, I wouldn't mind. A lot of other women have, besides his wife. So I think it's only fair.
It's only fair that you get to see it too.
Are there?
Well, that's admirable.
Yes. I do find myself watching movies where I was like, I went and saw the One Battle After Another, and I was like, fuck, man, it would be so hilarious if you saw Leonardo DiCaprio's dick or Benicio del Toro's dick. It would just be like, because no one famous anymore is doing it.
Well, who was the last one? I can't even think of any famous people.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know who. I do know in Baby Girl with Nicole Kidman, I read an article of her saying, and maybe this is why she's getting divorced now, because it would certainly make me think twice about marrying an actress. But she said she had to take breaks during filming the sex scenes of Baby Girl because she was coming too much.
Jesus. Nicole.
And I'm going like, can't you just act? Can't you just act like you're coming? And if you're not acting like you're coming, why tell people you're really coming in these scenes? Like, I feel like the intimacy coordinator, which again, a whole nother, we're going to be talking to an intimacy coordinator, which I can't wait to talk to, because none of that shit was around when we were first starting. And some people hate them. Some people love them. And
it's necessary. It seems like a good thing.
It seems like a good thing. Some actors are like, it's too much, because they're going like, well, his hands are going to go here and your hands are going to go here. You okay with that? And that some actors are going like, professional naked actor myself. Do I have to tell people like, do they help me with my own body? Going like, so in this scene you're jerking off, show me what your hands are going to be. You just want to see how I'm going to jerk off? That might be a thing.
Yeah, it could be. But I can't think of a famous actor. All that's coming to mind is Donald Sutherland. And I forget, it's a classic movie where he like reaches up for something and like his shirt reveals his naked butt. What movie was that? That was him, right?
Draft.
No, but it is a thing. But yeah, it's I can't think of a lot of men actors who have exposed themselves that are, like Harrison Ford's never shown it.
That'd be great.
No,
Shrinking? Yeah. If he stood up in his scene, with Jason Segel, he stood up, he had no pants on.
And he says, you know what isn't shrinking? This.
And then it just says, end of series right after. This just in black, it just cuts the black, it says series finale. And then underneath it, we're so sorry, but also
you're welcome.
Yeah. You saw Indiana Jones's dick. It is like a little treat. It would be a little treat. Because I do find myself watching movies going like, man.
Why is he wearing pants? That's your whole thing.
Why are all these characters wearing pants? There's enough stuff in movies that doesn't make sense where I would buy it if at the end of one battle after another he loses his pants.
Yeah, like if the battle's that strong. I haven't seen it yet, so I'm just guessing at what happens. There's a lot of battles, and maybe one of the battles his pants fall off.
There's a lot of you're guessing it's a lot of battles.
Yeah, one after the other. Yeah, like, all right, we won that battle. Oh shit, here comes some more people trying to kill me. Got to battle them now.
If they knew the title of the movie going into it, they'd be like, "It's just gonna be so many." I know once this battle is done, there's so many more battles.
Right. Or unless it's like the other way, like when sometimes people call me Shorty, maybe it's just one battle.
Yeah.
Ironic.
Was it the way?
We'll never know until I see it.
We will never know. But is there anything you want to plug?
I have.
Doing?
I'm ashamed to be on this podcast, so I don't want to plug anything. I'm just kidding. No, I'm gonna continue on Bob's Burgers until I am no longer welcome there. Maybe this podcast will do it.
I hope
I'm
not.
very happy there. I don't know if you know this. When I was 19, when I was 19 when The Simpsons came out, and I wrote a spec for it when I was like 20, maybe 20, and I still have it around. And it's not horrific, but I always wanted to be in this line of work, so I'm very happy. And I think it would be much more difficult to be a Simpsons writer now.
Oh my God!
They have 700 episodes. We just hit 300 episodes, and it's
That's
really
so crazy.
It's tough to come up with an idea that we haven't already done. Like I've done a few.
I can come up.
I'm ashamed to admit I've done a few episodes where it's like we got to find this treasure, and then they find it.
Well, I do have another treasure episode for you.
I'm not gonna. We're not allowed to hear outside pitches. It's a whole legal thing with Fox.
Well, I don't know if Fox will ever see this, but
I hope not.
it would. It would be amazing if, again, if my dream would be to have like even my dick as a cartoon would be, if there's any way to figure out a way that somehow
Sounds like adult.
animated dick. You want to go for an Adult Swim?
No, I'm saying that sounds like it could go on Adult Swim.
Oh, I thought you said you wanted to go for an Adult Swim. And I was like, I know what that means.
No. I'm saying your pitch might work. Certainly
On
not
a show on a
network, but maybe on Adult Swim, maybe on HBO.
Robot Chicken.
Yeah,
They'd love to see that.
I'm also ashamed to admit it took me 45 minutes to realize you aren't wearing pants right now, are you?
Wow.
And that's how this ends. And I just tipped it.
I literally stand up and then you hear a gunshot. As soon as you see my dick, you hear a gunshot and I fall through frame.
Oh, Lord. You want to plug anything? Is this really your first one of these?
This is really I want to plug
You
the
have so
podcast.
many
on the
famous
podcast.
friends. You have so many famous friends.
Yeah, nobody
Thank you
wants
for
to talk
choosing
to
me,
me.
I guess. They all said no, and then I said yes.
You were my first choice to be on this because I was like, who is fun to talk to, who's funny, who's also seen my penis a lot, and also has really funny stories themselves. I do remember a story you telling me. I don't know if we can use this, and you tell me and we can cut it out.
All right.
You did tell me of a person who did this, and maybe you can't tell me it because I don't know if it's out there. But wasn't there a wedding that you went to?
Oh, yes. We can't name names in that one. Yes. It was a wedding. You know what? Actually, it's been talked about on Conan. But that's all I'm going to say if you want to look it up. But yes, these guys thought it would be hilarious. There was like a montage video of all of the friends and family wishing the couple well. And it wasn't shown at the wedding. It was at the after party, the reception. And everyone was a little tipsy, and they're like, should we play it? Should we play it? And they're like, no. And they're like, oh, let's just play it. And it went over like a lead balloon, and like the groom was just like, those are my bride's relatives from Germany. You have to go apologize to them. Yes. and I can't remember the exact, but it was like all these, and sorry, I'm all over the place. So they start doing, there's a lot of famous people who know this couple. So you start seeing people like Bob Odenkirk and Dave Grohl wishing this couple well. So if people weren't paying attention, they're flooding into the room now. And yes, it's
It's
yes, we can keep this in. I mean,
I
it
was
was
so jealous when I heard that story, and I remember seeing it. I think when I heard the story from you, I went home and I was with Mac's wife at the time, Katie, and I said, "I heard this fucking story," and I told her the story, and she's like, "You sound mad." I'm not mad. I'm just like, it's such a perfect thing. And then I said to her, if I die, I've been to a bunch of funerals and wakes where they will play like a montage of videos of that person. And I said, I want to have a montage of me being just all naked pictures of a montage of me. And that's what I wanted to see.
How does
And
Lewis feel about this?
join us every Tuesday for new episodes of We're Getting Naked.